file. So we need a different piece that controls all the squares on the H file, because we know this is called as a ladder checkmate, right? Queen h6 is making some sense. Queen h6, king h6. Must checkmate pattern. I've seen, especially nowadays, many videos on YouTube, shorts, many Instagram reels on this particular pattern. That how do you make sure that the bishop, knight and queen together work and attack the king? So it is a concept that is called as double checks, right? We already know double checks. So first of all, you have to figure out what are the checks we can see on the board right now. What do you guys think? What are the checks you can see on the board?
Sir,
yes?
I can see a check on the board, but it's not such a good check.
What is the check you are seeing on the board?
I'm saying queen to c6.
So this is what I'm trying to teach you today. I'm trying to train you.
I'm seeing queen a6 too.
Queen a6 is also a check. Yes, good. So I'm trying to train you in a process that you guys don't just ignore a check because it's a sacrifice. So don't ignore checks just because of that, oh my god, we are losing the queen in that check. No. Start considering the sacrifices. Start looking deep. When you sacrifice the queen on c6 or on a6, what happens? So first of all, escape squares are very important. How many escape squares the king has? 1, 2, 3, correct? I said the king should have less than 2 or 2 escape squares to probably trap the king and create a checkmate. If you go queen to a6, king still captures. We don't have a check after that, right? We don't have a follow-up. So we just ignore that because we don't have a follow-up. But after queen into c6, king into c6, suddenly this line gets activated. You know that the king wants to escape to d7, right?
So, the knight double check.
So knight to e5 double check. Are you guys understanding what is going on? The bishop is attacking the king. The knight is attacking the king on c6. The king cannot go to d7, which was earlier the escape square. So we'll ignore that. So now what? What is the next way after that? Queen c6, king c6, and after that, what do we do? Then you go knight to d3. Knight to d3 check. Are you guys able to imagine it? Like suppose I'll make the moves. Queen to c6, king c6, knight e5. Because we have to not allow the king to escape like this. King to c5, knight to d3.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can't the pawn capture knight?
It's a double check, Srishti. That is why. When two people give check on the king, the pawn
Oh,
cannot.
it's a double check. I didn't see the double check part.
Okay. So king c5, knight d3 check. Now king has what escape square? d4. Are you guys understanding till now? King to d4. Now, do we have a follow-up after that or not? What do you think? Do we have a follow-up or not?
I think we'll think of something.
We can play c3.
We can play c3, but then you are just blundering your piece. So first of all, protect yourself, then you create a threat.
Sir,
Yes. Aradhya?
maybe king to d2.
Very good. King to d2. And now whatever happens doesn't matter much. Wherever you go, you cannot stop pawn c3. And it is a checkmate. Okay? Whatever move you can play does not matter much. Whatever move, just to play a random move. c3 is a checkmate. But to calculate till here, it's not easy. But I'm trying to teach you that these are very common patterns. How did I see the moment the position appeared on the screen that it is about queen sacrifice? The reason is because I have seen such kind of patterns before. So it gets inbuilt. At the moment we see these kind of patterns, something like queen has to be sacrificed. And we have to figure after that, once queen gets sacrificed on c6 and king comes on c6, what should we do after that? Don't ignore sacrifices just because it's like giving away a piece. Start looking deeper. Start calculating deeper. Everybody understanding till now?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the next one. Now it's a checkmate white to play level 3. White to play figure out a checkmate in 5. I'm not interested too much in 5th move or something like that, but I'm more interested in how do you see a direct check. It's like a series of check, and then it becomes very difficult for the opponent to survive. So what are the checks we can find?
So I think bishop takes knight. Then
Bishop takes knight check.
then if the pawn just take, queen immediately check to d8.
And it becomes a checkmate, right?
Yes.
Very good. Anyone having any other thing? So bishop takes knight
I
is
can only think of a few checks over here.
bishop takes knight is actually a good check, because even if I take by the queen or by the pawn, queen d8 is unstoppable. Because we
Sure.
e7 bishop is
But-
under.
So, but I think it could be stopped by bishop to d7.
Oh,
Then bishop.
Yeah, bishop d7 can be played. Then I will just take by the queen. You will run, right?
Yes.
Now, what is the check? It's very beautiful here, by the way. You go queen to d8. Now you can capture by the rook or by the bishop. If you capture by the bishop, remember rook to e8. If you capture by the rook, I will again do the same thing, making you capture by the bishop, and then rook e8 again becomes a check.
Oh, yes.
These are new kind of checkmates that you guys are seeing. You know, it involves sacrifices. Are you guys understanding what is happening?
Like, yeah, I get it that it's a new thing. Like, I was playing on this kind of a checkmate like the last game, which isn't very findable.
We have already seen that after queen into c6, it's just a checkmate in one move. So if black is kind of playing to survive, black will play king f8. Now what should we do? We have seen the pattern already. Who will try to find it out?
So just queen sacrifice.
Very good. Complete the line. Queen d8, bishop d8, then
Queen d8, then rook to e8.
very good. Good job. So we see that queen to d8 check and rook e8 checkmate. Who is understanding what is going on in today's class till now?
Like, till now, what we have going on is it's all about queen sacrifices, and can also be other sacrifices.
Yeah.
It's checkmates by sacrifices.
Okay, I want to go a bit higher level. So let's try level 4 this time, okay? We as white are about to lose our rook, which is correct. And everyone knows that a lone knight is unable to force mate against the king. Yes, that's also correct. Unless there's a exception. So here you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to sacrifice the rook and trap the king on the a8 square and checkmate the king with knight to c7. But first of all, you sacrifice. Like, how will you give away the piece? So first of all, what can we do, guys?
I think it's draw.
You
You
think
could
it's a
make
draw?
it draw if you want.
Yeah, you can make a draw because you're having a rook and a knight extra. So black will be very happy with the draw.
Because, like, draw is very easy to be made here, but the win is not so easy. Yeah.
No, d7, d.
d7, okay. So knight to d7, king to rook.
Then king moves up c6.
Okay. And I try to promote. You go up because you want to
Yes.
shift the knight, right? So you want to go to c8, correct?
Yes.
But am I giving you enough time? So you want to put your knight on c2, but you don't have enough time, sadly. See? Remember, knight to b6 is not a checkmate because pawn can eat you. So it is a knight move. Where else can we go? Instead of d7, we can also go c6 and a6, right? So start considering
Yes,
every
yes.
single possibility. There.
Are they gone?
So A6 is better.
Now, why are we ignoring C6 altogether? Because we want to utilize that path probably with the king, right? So
Yes.
knight A6. King takes rook. So now king C6. Now same thing happens. But remember, the knight is already ready to come on C7 with check, correct? So push.
Yes.
King C8. Push, and now one move ahead. Can you see that? We are one move ahead in finding this checkmate. That is the difference between knight to D7 and knight to A6. White to play in the chat. Personally, to me, what would you play? It's level 3 because you guys have already done level 4 once. So I'm not giving you the same level. I'm reducing the level a bit, but I want each one of you to tell me your own solutions. White to play. Black king is, first of all, not in the right place because the king has only 2 escape squares and there's nothing on this side that can protect the king. We are already attacking the f6 square 2 times. So you have to also consider what should we do after that. Take your time and then figure out. Pugal, rook f6, queen f6, knight f6, and it's like king f6 and black is having a rook and knight, you are having a queen. So it's still equalish. Still kind of black will be able to fight because the knight is very strong on d4, super powerful knight. First of all, try to understand that on the right side of black king, there is enough defense, right? But suddenly you figure out that on the left side of the black king, everything is exposed. So instead of fighting on the side where black is already having pieces, you should enter from the side where black is having no guard. Black is not having any protections on the left side of the board. So we start with queen f5. Queen f5 is kind of a very powerful move because whatever you do, my threat is queen to c7.
Yes, C7.
And it is very hard to stop queen c7. So suppose you try to go something like this. And now what? Queen cannot go to c7 obviously. So
Sir, A7.
Yeah, of course. King moves. And now what? Now what? How will it be a checkmate?
So rook takes F.
Rook f6 now. Very good because this guy takes. Now you can take. So this is level 4. White to play. Take your time. No need to rush. And think what should you do as white. Okay, so let me make it a bit difficult. How do you only find checkmate in 2 moves? Only 2 moves. Then it becomes a bit difficult. Let me make it kind of level 4. So you can play anything you want here. But now the question is, how do you find checkmate in only 2 moves? Not 3. Now show me how will you find the full solution. Knight
Sir,
goes to
the
f4.
king can take the knight.
King can take this as well as this, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's say king goes here and takes it, correct? Let's just assume. Now, where are the escape squares? Are there any escape squares? Only this is the one, right? So now I will go into
What's
h4.
wrong with
Yes,
what is wrong with the escape square on G4?
Yeah, so G4 was also escape square. Yes, you are right. So now queen h4 covers both of them. And now it's a checkmate. If the king goes and takes the other way, now I'll go from the other side and do the same thing. Alright, so what is the puzzle saying? White to play level 5. I'm hoping you can help me out. I was playing white against a friend in the coffee shop and about to deliver mate in 2. Then I accidentally knocked over my king. The problem is neither me nor my opponent can remember which square the king was placed. I'm getting so forgetful in my age. So your task is twofold. Figure out which square White's king was on before it got knocked down to the ground. Second task is when you figure out
the square,
then what is the move White will make to do checkmate in 2. So first of all, my task is to figure out where should the king be so that it becomes a checkmate, right? That is our task. Everybody making sense?
Yes,
So,
sir.
your king should be on that square. See, understand this. Your king should be on that square where this rook, if it goes up to deliver checkmate, the king has these two escape squares. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So suppose if we play the king over here, now the king cannot escape this way, right?
Yeah.
So king can escape this way, correct?
Yep.
Then what is the next check after that we are having? We are having this check.
Okay.
But it is not a checkmate because he can escape. Let me explain this again. And now suppose if we play the king over here, let's just imagine. If we play the king over here, and now again we go up, check, he goes here, right? Do we have any further checks? Yes or no? No,
No,
because
sir.
it takes, right? That's a small problem. So now what should we do? We have to first of all imagine that it's very funny. That is why chess is a very, very funny game. There's a third option. We play the king over here. Now how is this? How is this a checkmating pattern? We play.
Sir, I figured out the square and I figured out the checkmate.
Listen to me. Hear me out. If we play the king on e1, we can do long castles, and the rook comes on d1, and
Good.
unstoppable move rook to d8 checkmate.
Wow.
See, such a beauty, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you start understanding the game in this manner, you will start enjoying these patterns. You know, these patterns are very beautiful. So if I have to play a king over here, let me just explain what I was saying. Chess. Okay, let me play a king on e1 square, right? Okay, and let me also allow castles. All right. Okay, so let's go in the training mode. Let's allow castling. We go here, castles. And now the point is, whichever move you can play, up to you. You cannot stop rook to d8. I hope everything makes sense, right? Whatever move you do, rook d8 is.
Of course.
So that was the task, and that's why it was a bit higher level. But anyways, okay, this is the final position, guys. Then we are stopping. I'll be showing
Funny
you.
position.
Yeah.
Because the first funniest thing I can find is there was no king and we had to choose where to put the king.
I don't think so. You guys have done this kind of puzzle before, right?
No.
Sir, but before that,
Yeah.
if black is to play, they could just give us non-stop check, right, with their rook.
How? The rook was on h8. My king was on e1. There was a pawn on h2. So rook h2 would have been the move.
Oh, yeah, sir.
Okay, now here it is level 3. So you guys have to type in the chat. Think. I'll give you 3 minutes here because it's level 3. And it's white to play force mate into. Time to start finding out. You guys cannot play g4, yeah, because if you take the bishop, if you guys are thinking to take the bishop, then play g4, it's a stalemate. If you take the bishop right away by f into g3, it becomes a stalemate because all the black pieces are stuck. That is what you have to focus. So look for the details. f3 then g4. Okay. So if you go f3, you give me a chance to make a move. And I have to make a move with the bishop. So what if I just take your h4 pawn? Now I can go to where? g5. Let's say f3, bishop into pawn, g4, king e5. So you have to first of all play, understand that he wants to run like this. So you have to play f4. Yes. F4 first. And now if he does the same idea,
So the next answer which I sent was correct.
yeah. This is right. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.